For a second, neither of them move. Then, after a few seconds, the punk man gets drunk man's head out of his stomach, gets up, is led away by 2 or 3 guys. Oh, good one, mate. Yeah, was that good? You know, people in back with the cards. Had to throw that in. And so he's like, oh. Drunk man is still face down. And you know how drunks are. Like, here comes a drunk. Hey, I got your new record. When are you coming back? You know? Unstoppable. Take the drunk, put him in front of a train. Hey, are you fucking around with me? You know, they can't stop a drunk. A 150-pound boy is like dropped, 3 feet per second on him. Like the mass is like having like a car getting smacked across the head with a VW. Ow! Okay, the drunk gets up. What? What was that? Like no problem, he brushes himself off and gets his nose straight again. Looks down. Next to where the implant of his face in the floor is an empty glass. Picks it up. Huh. What do you do with an empty glass? Fill it. Goes back, fills that glass, goes right back into the crowd and never saw him again. The moral of the story is there is no moral. Sometimes people don't want your goddamn help. And it's really hard to know when to step in and try and be, Mr. Cool Guy. Recently, this girl I knew in Chicago, we used to do talking shows together. I'd come through Chicago, she'd go on first, I'd go on last, and we'd all go home. She used to do a lot of drinking. She was a alcoholic research analyst. She explored the depths of narcotics. I don't want to use the word junkie alcoholic, but I guess I will. And so the last time I saw her in Chicago, and she was incredibly horrible. Usually she's really great. Her writing is just so raw and so straight in your face. You really got to hand it to her. But this time she was so smacked out she could barely stand. It's just
what's her name?
You'll hear her name. Anyway, so she goes staggering off stage, and everyone was like, "Great, that was 40 minutes of drool. Fine," because she has a following in Chicago because people like her because she's good. Anyway, I go on and do my thing, and then months later she writes me, because we were having this argument through the mail, because I told the promoter, Lori wants to know what you thought of her show. And I said, well, you can tell Lori I thought she sucked. And you can tell her that, because I've seen her so many times before and she's been great, but tonight, tell her to get the needle out of her arm and she'll really kick some ass.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I said. And she wrote me fuck you. And I said, okay, well, fuck me then. I mean, you're great. You shouldn't dull yourself with heroin, but it's your life, So anyway, we were going back and forth through the mail. And this girl, Lori, went to this heroin party a few months ago. Now what? I like parties. I go to parties every once in a while. I like party games. Twister is always fun. Pin the tail on the donkey, smack the piñata. We usually just handcuff a kid by an ankle to a tree and then we use it as a piñata. It's fun. It's, gets you off for a while. And I like going to parties, sipping punch and meeting people and exchanging gifts. And I think parties are very wonderful. They're very fun, and you can meet people and pick up other points of view. I think they're very, very good. Partying. I like to party down, yes. So anyway, I've never been to a heroin party. I don't exactly know what the procedure would be at a heroin party. I kind of think, what kind of games do you play at a heroin party? Sounds like... Hold on a minute. I mean, do you go on and on until the break of dawn at a heroin party? Like, party down! So anyway, she was at a heroin party. Like, woo! Turn the record over. You do it. It's not on? Oh. So anyway, they're partying on and on until the break of dawn. They're going to a party, throwing a party, Ice Ice Baby all night long, chilling like Bob Dylan, Max, like Michael Jackson all night long. Anyway, old Lori apparently takes a big old dose, partying down, takes a big old jolt of heroin there and kind of falls over. And everyone goes, oh look, Lori fell over. Lori, wake up. Lori's like, sleeping it off. Well, someone should call 911, an ambulance, and get Lori checked out. And the dealer says, well, wait a minute. If we call an ambulance, then the cops will come here, and I have a lot of drugs on me, and they'll see that we're all high. We don't want anyone to break up the party, right? And everyone goes, yeah, that's right. Well, put Lori in the corner and let her sleep it off. It'll be okay. So they, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So they, you know, how many junkies does it take to screw in a light bulb? I wouldn't know. Anyway, they dragged Lori over to a corner and they let her sleep it off. And the party indeed went on into the break of dawn. It went on and on into the break of dawn. And dawn came and everyone said, look, it's dawn. We went on and it's time to go on and on home. And they go over to Lori, you know, wake up Lori, it's time to go home. Well, Lori doesn't do heroin anymore. She's totally clean of heroin. She's totally clean of booze because Lori had been dead for hours. She's dead. She's dead as a fucking doornail. Forever. And all because no one had the balls to call the ambulance and get her. You know, who knows if it could have saved her anyway, but she now will never know. And she was great. And no matter how many times you've been burned by a junkie, been lied to by a junkie, been one and burned all of your friends, you don't need to die like that. It's a shitty way to go. And we were never the greatest of friends. Like, you know, I didn't ever move into her house or anything, but I miss her all the time, you know. And that's where the good old don't get involved thing kind of blew up in everyone's stoned face. And it just sucks. And that's the end of that story. I figure, you know, I guess up here there's a lot of Labatt's enthusiasts. I don't want to say the word alcoholic, but I guess I will. Anyway, there's a lot of people who get fucked up, you know. And the thing I notice when people get drunk, they got no style. That's my main problem with drunks. Hey Henry, can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah. Hey man, I'm sorry, you don't mind me touching you, do you? Their forehead is on yours. No, it's okay. Man, I can't believe. Are you Henry Rollins? Yeah. I'm sorry to. Yeah, I am. I wish I wasn't. Yeah, yes, I am. Do you have something you want to say? Man, I got all your fucking records, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I know I'm drunk. No, yeah, I am. I'm a little drunk. Oh, okay. I fucking love you, man. I'm not a fag or anything, man, but fuck. Can I just kiss you, man? I'm sorry. Fucking man, fucking. I'm sorry. You're probably gonna hit me as I'm crying, right? I'm sorry. I'm drunk. Really? Yeah. You know, it's just like, man, get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go break up the bathroom now and get the club closed down. I'll see you. Okay, I grew up with this great drunk. He was totally psychotic. He was my guru. Me and Ian, this guy in this band called Fugazi, we grew up together. And from like age 11, we were like thick as thieves. And we just grew up on the streets in DC doing our thing. And our main man was this bum called Sky King. And Paul, his real name was Paul. And Paul, Sky King, Crazy Paul, you know, whatever. And he always had something awesome to say. And for the nominal price of $1 or $2, he would extol some wisdom upon you. And we would just see him, and he knew us. He knew that we were his fan club, and he knew we were always good for a couple of bucks. And he's like, hey, how are you? Look at your wallet, you know, look at your pocket, and you're like, here's a buck. He's like, it's trying to stay as high as I can. $2,100 a week, $300 a day, bicycle tires, sombreros, monkey wrenches for the State Department, and toilets are clogged up. I'm owed $31 billion, but right now I got my teeth out and they're gonna fix them.
they can't give me my money because they have to take care of all the babies. And as you know, it takes a lot of money to raise a baby. $300 a day, $21 a week. Winter sports in the wintertime, summer sports in the summertime. Red, blue, green, black. King snakes on top of the mountain. Mother, Father, Holy Ghost, your father is being eaten by the black snakes. And whatever rank you were is the rank you'll serve under in the next life. Mobile Exxon built all your homes. God bless you. Great China Wall across the country, which we call a highway patrol. Every Sunday, I give food to the Marines as long as someone eats it. God bless them. God bless you. I'm like, fuck, Paul, thanks. He's like, go out. Or you just like stare at you. Your name is Todd Witherspoon. You like go staggering away with this new knowledge. One day, Paul, this guy has style. You should have seen the way he dressed. He would just like find garbage on the streets and turn it into objects to art. Large Slurpee cups became like wristlets, like, you know, to fend off alien rays and shit. And like the trench coat with like those orange construction flags wrapped around it, like long hair, this big snot, you know, caked beard, and like to breathe near this man was just like inhaling a house. Like it's just like your body, your everything in you is like, I'm not taking in this air. I am not acknowledging urine and fecal matter that is 9 weeks old. I'm sorry. And your nose, your lungs would go, no, fuck you. We're on strike. We're not opening. Turn blue and die, but we're not letting that in. Get upwind. Paul could get really strong in the summer. You're like, Paul, man, let's hose you down. You know, Reagan filled with formaldehyde standing up for speeches. And like, fuck, it's probably true. Paul, how do you do this? You know? So anyway, one day Paul went into the Leonard hair salon, this hairstylist across the street, old-fashioned place across the street from the pet shop where they have the big cones they put on the women's heads, and these old women with their lipstick all over here and the eyeliner all over down here, those kind of old gay hairdresser guys, balding hair combed over to the side with those kind of half glasses and those blue smocks, a real old-timey place. Fake pinkies out with a tiny comb. And the women come in to get their hair blued, you know, punk out, you know, women. So anyway, Paul rolls in there one day, and this got written up in the Washington Star magazine. He walked in with a trench coat, opened the trench coat, and everyone took out a dead squirrel, lobbed it over his shoulder like a hand grenade, and screamed, "Donate your bodies to science, you fools!" and walked out. Unbelievable. What style? If you're gonna be a drunk, you might as well have some style. I actually got to hang out with him one day when he was sober. Like, at least, you know, there's like 20 or 30 seconds of reality for the guy when he wasn't insane. It was unbelievable. I was on my way to work one day and I see him sitting alone right outside the outfield of the softball park where he used to sleep. Right outside the outfield, he's sitting on a park bench. I'm like, hey, Paul, man. I run down there, I sit next to him, I go, Paul, what's going on? It's like, oh, well, you know, it just goes on. So, you know, black snakes, red, blue, green, Miami, you know, some, whatever. And then he gets up, starts dancing around. Paul, yeah, that's a pretty amazing dance technique. He goes up to the chain link fence where the outfield is, does a pirouette, puts its boot up to the chain link fence and goes, because I always wanted to be a dancer, but I could never get this shit off my shoes. Whoa. Sky opens, sunlight comes down on the two of us. In a very